Oh, it's on the record. Yes. Court is calling 2023 CR 11355, State of Texas versus Joe Anthony Leopoldo.
Yes, Judge.
Thomas, could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins, the state, right?
Defense?
Adam LaHood for the defendant.
All right. And are you Mr. Thomas?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Thomas, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor, except for waiving the habitual offender advancement obligation.
We have no objections to that waiver, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let's go off the record. Can I have attorney's approach?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Thomas, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review this document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
You understand you're charged with felony in possession of a weapon. That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. According to the plea, there's a $500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They will take in consideration 2024 CR 1106. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Judge.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 4 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours community service restitution, no contact with and SATF. Did you understand? So those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations.
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
State any evidence.
Your Honor, I offer States Exhibit 1 and the attachments.
We have no objections, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Judge. So I think obviously we're not opposed to being granted deferred. It's what we asked for and applied for. What we are asking to do is take a look at whether or not SATF is an appropriate remedy for him. We were here on the MTR about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I lose track of time. And I believe at that time he was ordered to do a TAP evaluation, and that's where the SATF recommendation came from. However, Judge, I think if you, I hope there's a copy in the file. If you look at the evaluation report, he was honest about everything that happened. There was alcohol consumption that night, but he's been clean of hard drugs for a very long time. Add to the fact he's been in custody now, I think about 5.5, 6 months or so. We're hoping the court would see fit to either not order SATF, order outpatient, hold SATF in abeyance, just something to avoid an inpatient tracked simply based on the fact, one, he's been in custody a long time. I don't know if SATF is necessarily the least restrictive means to get him any treatment that he may need. For that reason, Judge, we're asking to avoid sending him to staff at all possible.
All right. Anything you wish to say?
Oh, no, ma'am.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to a $500 fine. That'll be probated. Sentence you to 5 years deferred adjudication. Take in consideration 2024 CR 1106. And there was a second number.
Judge, the other case is not being TNC'd. I'm dismissing it for missing witness stuff that I saw.
All right.
Yes, Judge.
All right, so I've signed the dismissal on that one, and that's cause number 2023 CR 11354.
Yes, sir.
And this will run concurrent with.
Sorry, Judge, I forgot to tell you, but it is meant to be concurrent with this other case.
All right, and that will be concurrent with 2022 CR 3270. There's to be no contact with the following persons. Tattoo, San Antonio, Texas. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. I'm sorry, not regular random UAs, the UA hotline. Probation, do you think SATF is where he should be?
Sorry, I apologize. I didn't know. Honor, if the court deems appropriate, we would recommend intensive outpatient treatment, monthly urinalysis, and sober support meetings as the lesser modality.
All right, then it's going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, the UA hotline, intensive outpatient treatment with probation, and 90 sober meetings in 90 days. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. And then at probation's discretion. And gang evaluation. Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
1, ma'am.
Age?
7 years old.
200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once he completes that, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied, and there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it and all in the appropriate place?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, I remember your case. I remember that video. You were on the side of the street at a tattoo shop, just as intoxicated as you could be. Obviously, you have a drug or alcohol problem. We're trying to solve that problem for you. If you do not want to potentially end up in prison for 10 years, you had better straighten up your life. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
May I,
yes.
on this other case that he's actually on probation for,
Mhm.
the conditions were amended for status. can we re-amend or
Yes,
make
we
an
will.
amendment to that
Yes.
for
And
intensive outpatient treatment?
all right, and cause number 2022 CR 3270. The conditions will be alternate amended to include intensive outpatient treatment, the UA hotline, and 90 sober meetings in 90 days. Yes,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
What is the UA hotline?
Oh, probation will explain it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, you may be seated.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Court is calling 2024 CR 0982, State of Texas versus Jerry Bonda. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Eric Baker for Mr. Bonda, who's present.
All right, and are you Mr. Bonda?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Your Honor, we're waiving one of the paragraphs, the last paragraph. Proceeding of repeater, ag assault, with deadly weapon.
Did you understand you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That is normally that's a second degree felony. If the state is able to prove up the enhancement, then your range of punishment would be anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, you'd agree that you've previously been convicted of a felony of four. All right, who are those people at the door? Okay, thank you. All right, did you understand, part of your plea bargain agreement is you'd agree that you've been previously convicted of a felony before for terms of enhancement? Punishments be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There are no applications, and there's to be restitution, if any, to. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Okay.
To paragraph 1 and the enhancement, how do you plead? True or not true?
True.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
Yes, sir.
Objection, Your Honor.
Right, you may continue to confer. Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. The court will find paragraph 1 of the enhancement paragraph true based upon your plea or true and based upon states exhibits 1 and attachments. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, just that I think this is a fair sentence in light of his past, in light of his facts of the case, and just ask the court to follow.
All right. Then the court will find you guilty as previously stated. Paragraph 1 enhancement true. 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's to be restitution to Michael Huerta. There's to be no contact with Michael Huerta, and the court will give you credit for any time served. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you?
54.
All right, you're in the same shape I am. We're in the twilight of our life, unless we're expecting to live 60 more years, right? So you're gonna have to make a decision. Do you want to continue doing this back and forth, going to prison and living the rest of your life in prison, or do you want to get things together? The choice is yours, okay? All right, good luck to you. Thank you,
guys.
counsel. And Diana, on count two, it's 2 cases.
Your Honor, how are you not bald?
Hmm?
How are you not bald? I would be bald by.
Genetics, I don't know. Oh. But you know, I will tell you this, each case that you hear, it's just a different case. So.